Today, guys, I've got something really special. This is Max Works, Max Watanabe Mobile Suits Works, and it's my favorite Mook that I've probably ever seen. It is an amazing book by Hobby Japan, and I'm going to go through it with you guys and talk about all of the incredible builds that he's done over his many years working with Hobby Japan magazine. So, guys, let's get right into it. So starting off, of course, you have the RX-78 II. You've got some really beautiful shots of it here, and you can see, of course, that signature Max Watanabe painting style. If you guys aren't familiar, he's the modeler who went on to start Max Factory, and they make a lot of kits themselves now, but originally he got his start being a modeler for Hobby Japan magazine and a contributing editor, I believe. I believe he wrote articles as well. So this book is a compendium of just all kits that he's built throughout the ages. This is a really cool, super chunky Zaku. I can tilt the book up to help with the glare there. But just absolutely inspiring modeling work. And what's great about this book too, as you'll see, is there are also a lot of kind of tutorials and showing you the breakdown of step-by-step how he modified the kits to make them look the way they do. This is a bit of a more modern take on the RX-78 II, which looks really cool. And there are a lot of these really gorgeous diorama style shots, which are just my absolute favorite. Another Zaku 2. The beginning of the book is a lot of RX-78 and Zaku 2, and then it goes into some more interesting, different kits. But yeah, here, this is a great example of kind of breaking down some of the modifications that are done. You can see here, like using putty to fill a piece, adding plot plate. Here you can see more putty, seam line removal, just all different kinds of modifications. And obviously it is all in Japanese, but in general I think it's fairly easy to get the gist of what he's talking about just by looking at the photos. Here's a really neat Zaku 1. I think this is executed quite well. Really interesting looking build there. And a gray Zaku too, which looks kind of interesting. Feels kind of like the Zaku 3 color scheme. And then you've got, I believe this is the Johnny Ridden. You can see there. I'll try to open this, you can see this full spread there. Really nice. And this is kind of hard to see, this photo. It's even dark in the print. Just like a little diorama there. And another Zaku too. Yeah, I love looking at these, but the beginning is a little bit repetitive. And now we get into the part that I find to be a little bit more interesting, some of the different kits. Here you've got this Gogg. One highlight here is I think these details along the inside of the skirt are just crazy. You can see here, pull it up, like those thruster details and the inside of what he did to the skirt with those lines are just absolutely, that's just next level stuff. All scratch built. The internal details anyway. Super inspiring work. You got some DOMs. This is a nice one. This one's kind of fun because it really has this cartoony vibe to it. It feels like straight out of the old anime. You got a goof. This is like a nice clean, I mean, it's a gorgeous goof build for sure. But it is quite, it does feel quite basic, although there is this really nice metal piping that's been added in there. You can see, looks really cool. Lots of modifications, proportion adjustments, all kinds of stuff. Detailing the inside of the shield. I always love this kind of work. Adding those details. Here you have a gun cannon too. Really nice build. I think some articulation might have been added there to help create this pose. This is one of my favorites. This Zeong, similar to that Gogg we were looking at, has some really cool internal details with the thrusters. This shot here, like what he's doing with the inside of that area is just absolutely crazy. Super, super cool with all the wires running and all that inner frame detail. Really, really cool stuff. Now you've got a Zeta. And I just really absolutely love the shading on this Zeta. My favorite thing about his builds, I mean, it's the how clean they are, and then also the shading. The shading is definitely my favorite. This Zeta in particular, I just absolutely adore the shading. And then this really cool kind of very subtle camo, digital camo on the backpack there. You can also even see it there on the shoulders. It's really everywhere on the blue, and it just looks so cool. And you can see the two different Zetas there back to back. This is one of my favorites. This Super Gundam is just so cool. I love this checker pattern on the back. It's such a just nice touch. And everything on this is just, I think, flawlessly executed. This is one where I think the shading is a bit stronger, which I actually like. I think it adds a ton of character. And it's all just done in such a clean way. This double Zeta, these are some of my favorites, this whole section of the book. This double Zeta is just absolutely incredible. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Phenomenal stuff. Just comparing it to the unpainted kit. This is one of my favorites. This was a huge inspiration for me in terms of picking up the old Master Grade Sazabi. Just the way this kit was built and painted. Very subtle changes from how the kit comes stock. But as you can see, there are a ton of them. A ton of changes, but it's just a ton of very subtle changes, and the cumulative effect is really tremendous on this. As well as the shading. I mean, the Sazabi just begs to be shaded with all of those curves and rounded edges. It's just really awesome. Love what he did with the inside of those missile pods, as well as the shield. And this one as well, this GP02 is super cool. I love this photo. And you can see here with the unpainted build just how much has been added. And that's the thing, right? You know, people will say, oh, this kit is, you know, it's a terrible kit, but I think the fun of working on some of these old kits is making them look like this, you know? Taking something that might be a little rough around the edges and turning it into something awesome. It's a really fun challenge. Nice Alex. And then this is a little section on the making of this book here, showing how he does his shading. And some of the tools he uses. Just some tips and tricks. And it really does go quite in depth. Really nice Rick Dom. Really cool backpack here. G3 Gundam. And another Zaku too. And the 160 scale Wing Gundam. This was actually not the kit that inspired me to pick up the 160 high grade Wing Gundam, but this kit has inspired me with what I'm going to try to do with my build. I mean, this essentially, it more or less looks like a perfect grade, and I think that's so cool, taking a 160 high grade and making it look like a perfect grade. Just really, really cool. I mean, look at this. Look at the detail on this thing. And the bird mode looks amazing as well. Another G3 Gundam. This is, I think, one of the most impressive builds. Not a lot of weathering in a lot of his builds, but this one, of course, you can see has the weathering, and it's just so magnificent. There's just some beautiful like yellows and browns kind of in the different layers of the paint. It just feels so rich. Another Zaku 2, of course. This checker pattern's kind of a nice touch. Makes it feel very unique. 160 scale Zeta, perfect grade. Very, very nice build here. Very cool. Really like how it really feels like around these thrusters there's this buildup of dirt and grime. Nice dom here. This one also feels straight out of the anime. And then you've got more making of, just showing you some of the work that went into this dom, which is really nice, just really helpful. This is a super unique one. This Kampfer has always stood out to me. I think I saw it in another book, and they pulled it from that into this compilation book. But such a cool take on the Kampfer. It's just really interesting. I don't know what else to say. It's just really interesting and really impressive and really flawlessly executed. It feels like a completely different model almost. Cubile, a few different versions. Dendrobium, which is really an impressive one. That must have taken a long, long time. Really, really cool. All the accessories and then the GPO3 there. And another RX-78 too. And that's the book. You've got a photo of Max there and a little bit about him, and then kind of this synopsis of all of the different kits. And that's the book. Yeah, I mean, I know we went through it kind of quickly, but you can look through this book, I mean, for hours and hours and hours and go back to it again and again. Just so much amazing stuff in here, you guys. I think as a fan of Max's, it's just got to be one of my favorite books, if not my favorite. And I highly recommend it if you can find it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share it because this book just really inspired me so much, and I didn't know it existed. So maybe there's some of you out there that didn't know about it either, and maybe you can now try to find it, pick it up on eBay or Buyee or Surugaya or something like that, and have some fun with it. Let it inspire you, you know? Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of these kinds of videos. Really appreciate you guys. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.